Talonflame, and Smeargle. So a copy of the Japanese national winning team.
Yep, and again, what we saw the previous round as well. So a team that I'm sure Barry kind of expects what's coming. This is a team he's definitely familiar with since it won Japan Nationals. And as we see here, multiple players are using this team. I'm really curious about the Volcarona. I'm not sure if we see it here since Kamaal doesn't have a Xerneas. And I imagine Volcarona is kind of geared more towards countering Xerneas. Since, as we mentioned earlier, Amoonguss with red card made an appearance in round 1. I think Volcarona is another Pokemon that could potentially hold a red card since it resists Xerneas' fairy moves. And then it even gets Whirlwind. It's another way, kind of like Amoonguss gets Clear Smog, it's a way to force Xerneas out, get rid of those boosts that it gets from Geomancy, and it's kind of, you know, it's more of a Xerneas counter. It's not something you're going to want to bring against the likes of a Groudon, which you're not going to be able to hit very hard.
Or even
a Rayquaza, definitely not going to bring it against that.
As we do see leads come out right now, as we do see Xerneas and Smeargle come out for Barry's side. Yeah, Barry's side does go for the Xerneas and the Smeargle, and we do see Kamaal go with the Groudon and Smeargle.
Yep, so we see matching Smeargles here. This will be really interesting to see. The speeds of each is important if they both go for a Dark Void. Of course, it's also important if they go for Fake Outs, if they have that. And it's also important when it comes to predictions if they have Crafty Shield, because Crafty Shield will block the effects of Dark Void. And you don't want to be the one having to waste your turn of Smeargle going for a Crafty Shield. You want to, actually get something done with it. However, if both Smeargles were to just not get anything done because of, let's say, Crafty Shields or Dark Void and Crafty Shield, the Groudon has the advantage against the Xerneas. So if you're Kamaal, you like this situation.
We do see Smeargle on Barry's side go for the Fake Out onto Kamaal's Smeargle, as Groudon on Kamaal's side does protect. And Xerneas now gets a free Geomancy here. Going to be able to exert a lot of pressure as its stats going to get boosted in special attack, special defense, and speed. So the move that a lot of players do not enjoy seeing coming from that Xerneas comes out on turn 1 relatively free.
Yeah, definitely good for Barry getting that early Geomancy.
And we do see Smeargle's accuracy rise on Kamaal's side, and we do see the speed drop, unfortunately. And Smeargle on Barry's side is not going to be moody. It is going to go ahead and either have Own Tempo or Technician, but most likely that Own Tempo.
Yeah, it is interesting, though, to see that Barry Smeargle is I guess he doesn't know for sure, but the Smeargle is slower than Xerneas, and so that speed drop's not really a big deal. And we see a switch out from Barry Smeargle.
And we do see Rayquaza come in, going to go ahead and provide the airlock to prevent that sun from coming out. Smeargle does go for a wide guard on Kamaal's side, going to protect from any possible dazzling gleams. As we see Moonblast from Xerneas connect onto that Smeargle, going to be able to pick up the one-hit KO after a little bit of chip damage from that Fake Out, as Groudon now does get to move and goes for an Eruption here. Going to be weakened because of that airlock. Xerneas with increased special defense, not taking much at all, and Rayquaza, of course, resisting that, so good turn right there from Barry.
Yeah, this is a situation where you really want a physical Groudon to take on Xerneas, because special Groudons, even though it resists Fairy, it doesn't really have a great matchup against Xerneas because it got the Geomancy boost. It's hardly taking any damage here. The one saving grace for Kamaal is if his Groudon does have Hidden Power Ice, which is certainly something we have seen in the past. That could be a way to take out Rayquaza that maybe Barry doesn't expect. Bringing in Talonflame here, that may be able to take out Rayquaza depending on its item. If it's got a Choice Band, that could certainly be enough to knock it out. And then, of course, Xerneas having a physical attack like Brave Bird would do massive damage to it.
Yeah, but I don't think it's in range to be KO'd just yet, right?
Yeah, I don't know about this Mega. It depends how the Xerneas is trained, and it depends on Talonflame's item. I think it could definitely take out Rayquaza from this point. If it's got the likes of a Choice Band or a Life Orb, I think it might be enough.
And we do see Rayquaza now Mega Evolve, gonna get rid of that, the Drought, the Heavy Sun, as we do see Rayquaza's Delta Stream gonna go ahead and bring up the Mysterious Air Current, as Xerneas gonna protect itself, not gonna want to take a Brave Bird this turn. Maybe that's a good protect, as Talonflame does go for a Brave Bird into the protect. Good protect right there, as Rayquaza on Barry's side goes for the huge Dragon Ascent. Gonna go ahead, and it looks like it's gonna target down that Talonflame. Just gonna try to knock it out right now. Does pick up the one-hit KO, as it does drop its defense and special defense by 1 stage, but that's the knockout that Barry really wanted just to protect his Xerneas.
Yeah, Talonflame had a great matchup against Xerneas there, and there we do see the Hidden Power.
Yeah, the Hidden Power Ice, unfortunately, the Mysterious Air Current will reduce that.
But it did lower its special defense, so that's going to be enough to take it out because of that Dragon Ascent.
That is, yeah, good call right there, Ray, for that Hidden Power. we do have Xerneas still out on the field with
Yeah, so
increased
that's a downside.
stages.
The bright side for Kamaal is he just traded his Talonflame effectively for a Rayquaza, which is certainly a good trade, a non-restricted for a restricted. But you still have this Xerneas here, and you lost one of your big ways to knock it out.
Ooh, and we do see Rayquaza. If Kamaal's Rayquaza does carry a Focus Sash and is able to, you know, kind of bypass the Smeargle, this could open up some opportunities because it will be able to hit Xerneas with the Dragon Ascent possibly if it has a Focus Sash.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Berry Smeargle is trained or what item it has. There's a lot of things you can do with Smeargle, as we said before. Normally we see things like Mental Orb or Focus Sash, but even Choice Scarf is sometimes used, and if it were, it would give Smeargle a way to outspeed both of these Pokemon and put them both to sleep. Probably unlikely, though. We don't see Choice Scarf a whole lot on Smeargle. So another possibility, we saw Fake Out already, so that's definitely something we might see from Berry.
And we do see Kamaal's Rayquaza now Mega Evolve as well. Gonna go ahead and bring out the mysterious Air Current yet again. That's the weather that they enjoy facing off in. It's gonna come down to whether or not this Rayquaza can survive the Xerneas and pick up KO. As Rayquaza now goes for an Extreme Speed here, gonna go ahead and target down this Smeargle, doing a lot of damage. Picks up the one-hit KO, so it's not carrying a Focus Sash at all. As we do see a Life Orb come out, that will not help in this matchup against Xerneas at all. We do see the Dazzling Gleam connect onto Rayquaza, picks up the one-hit KO as Groudon hangs on with about 50% right here, but you know, it's a special Groudon. It's not going to be able to do much damage at all.
No, it's not.
As we do see the Eruption from Groudon now connect onto that Xerneas. Weakened, no Sunlight, with a very bulky Xerneas on the other side, does barely any damage at all.
Yeah, and that was even a single target Eruption too, so it just shows Special Groudon just can't really deal with this Geomancy Xerneas at all.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Kamaal's probably going to have to go back to the drawing board for. You know, the score does look pretty close. It looks like it will finish off in 2-0 fashion, unless Kamaal just forfeits for a 2-1 fashion. We do see Protect just going to go ahead and try to scout out what moves this Scrafty is going to be able to have.
Yep, you always want to do that in Game 1. Try and get as much information as you can.
As we do see Groudon Protect, as we do see Scrafty go for the Fake Out, and we see Xerneas Moonblast into that Protect. So, you know, one thing that Kamaal's going to have to go back to do is just be able to prevent this Xerneas from getting up that Geomancy for free.
Yeah, since Kamaal has that special Groudon instead of the physical Groudon, it makes Xerneas such a bigger threat. We talked about how that trade of Talonflame for Rayquaza is kind of worth it in the sense that you lose a non-restricted Pokemon in exchange for taking down your opponent's restricted Pokemon, but at the same time, you needed that Talonflame to take down the Xerneas. That might have not been such a worth trade. You might want to save the Talonflame for taking down that Xerneas. It's tough to prevent it from getting the boost when it's paired alongside a Smeargle, but maybe you do need to lead like a Rayquaza. You saw it one-hit KO the Smeargle, and it didn't even have a Focus Sash, so maybe your Rayquaza would be a good lead. You're faster than the Xerneas, so you could get a Dragon Ascent on it, do a lot of damage. It's not going to KO it, and you might get KO'd in exchange, but if you have a Focus Sash, then you can certainly survive the incoming Fairy move. You can at least put it in range for Talonflame, and make it so your Rayquaza doesn't go down as easily as it did in Game 1. However, since Kamaal's, we saw it had Life Orb, so it doesn't have the Focus Sash, but still, it's a worthwhile trade, I think. The Talonflame is better suited for dealing with the Xerneas after the Geomancy, so it might be better to trade your Rayquaza rather than Talonflame in this specific matchup.
Both players are 3-0 currently, you know. You don't want to lose early. It is still okay to lose, you know, you still have a couple more rounds to win, but, you know, you want to have as much cushion as you can possibly, and, you know, Barry is just one step closer to moving on to 4-0. Kamaal, you know, going into Game 2, he's going to have to react to this team. He's going to have to be able to stop Xerneas from being able to set up that Geomancy. You know, again, like you've mentioned, you know, that's one issue with the special Groudon. I personally am not a fan, but you know,
it's one of the reasons. It's one of the reasons sometimes you do see mixed Groudon, so they carry that Eruption, but then they also carry Precipice Blades just for situations exactly like we just saw, in case they're up against a Xerneas with Geomancy. It's a way to do a pretty good chunk of damage to it. But I see why Earth Power is desired, because it can pick up a one-hit KO on Groudon, which Precipice Blades can't do. But at the same time, Xerneas is just so common, you're pretty much deciding, do you want to take out Xerneas or do you want to take out Groudon better?
And we do see Kamaal go ahead and lead with Groudon and Smeargle again, as we do see Smeargle and Xerneas leads out for Barry, so Kamaal trying to make this lead work, as Barry just, you know, if it's not broken, why change it, right?
Yep.
we do see the Groudon now going to go ahead and revert back to its primal form over on Kamaal's side, and this Geomancy looks pretty free right now.
Yeah, it does. If Smeargle goes for a fake out again, and now that Barry definitely knows that this Groudon is special, I mean, you have to go for Geomancy. There's just no reason not to at this point.
Yeah, and you know, one issue that we saw in Game 1 was Kamaal protected his Groudon, so maybe he might have to do some sort of offensive maneuvers here with this Groudon.
Yeah, the thing is, if Xerneas is faster, then even if Groudon does attack, it's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. You would at least be able to take out Smeargle if it goes for a fake out.
And we do see Smeargle on Barry's side go for a fake out again onto that Smeargle on Kamaal's side. Smeargle now going to flinch as Xerneas gets a Geomancy. Groudon is going to go on the offensive here as it does not protect. What is Groudon going to do? Most likely going to go for an Eruption here. Should be able to pick up the KO on Smeargle, as we still see Xerneas go ahead and get its boost. 2 stages of increased special attack, 2 stages of increased special defense, 2 stages of increased speed, as we do see Groudon now go for the Eruption. Going to be able to pick up the KO on Smeargle and do some damage to that Xerneas at least, bring it down to about 60% of its health remaining.
Yeah, so not bad damage there since the sunlight is up. But if a Rayquaza were to come in here, for example, then Groudon's damage output would be lower. And Rayquaza is very fast, so it would be able to take out the Groudon alongside the Xerneas being able to take out the Smeargle.
Yeah, and now, you know, Rayquaza does come in just like you called it. And what is Smeargle going to be able to do to provide some support for this Groudon here?
There's Follow Me if it has it. Wide Guard would block a Dazzling Gleam, but that doesn't really help too much because Rayquaza could still get an attack off. We saw Groudon has that Hidden Power Ice, but at full HP, I can't see that KOing Rayquaza even if it drops its special defense with Dragon Ascent. So Barry is in a very good position here. I'm not sure what Kamaal can do with his Smeargle. He can lessen the damage that his Groudon takes and keep it around longer if he goes for, say, a Follow Me or a Wide Guard. But he's just not in a good spot here.
We do see Rayquaza now Mega Evolve, going to go ahead and make the sunlight disappear and go for the mysterious air current instead because of that Delta Stream. And it's really just going to come down to what Smeargle can do here, or maybe Kamaal has something in the bag. Xerneas goes for a Dazzling Gleam right off the bat, picks up the KO on Smeargle, doing a good amount of damage to that Groudon here. And now Rayquaza's going to get to move as Rayquaza goes for a Swords Dance, going to go ahead and try to set up right now. Swords Dance is a very cool move on Rayquaza, it does exert a lot of pressure. As Groudon now goes for an Earth Power onto the Xerneas, maybe a critical hit, might be able to do something here, but does not get the critical hit. And unfortunately, Xerneas is still around with enough health to survive another Earth Power, I believe.
Yeah, I'm guessing Barry used that Swords Dance because he didn't think the Dragon Ascent would KO Groudon from this range, so that's understandable if he didn't expect it to KO. In which case, Swords Dance is perfectly fine because now Extreme Speed will be KOing everything. It can move before Talonflame and just knock it out. And then when he does attack Groudon eventually, he can knock that out. So Barry, he's got 2 fully set up Pokemon. There's really not much Kamaal can do here.
And we see the Extreme Speed from Rayquaza come out. Connect on Talonflame. Talonflame survives. Talonflame now goes for the Brave Bird right here. Gonna go ahead and target down the Xerneas. Oh no, hits the Rayquaza instead, does not pick up the one-hit KO. Talonflame faints from its own recoil right there. As we do see now, Xerneas gets to go for a move, goes straight for a Moonblast right now, connecting onto that Groudon. Is it going to be enough to pick up the one-hit KO? From there, it is enough to pick up the KO with the critical hit, just to add insult to injury. And now Kamaal has one more Pokemon to be able to knock out a setup Xerneas and a setup Rayquaza.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a Pokemon that can do that, unfortunately, for Kamaal.
Yeah,
but that was
definitely
interesting to see that Talonflame take that Swords Dance Extreme Speed from Rayquaza. It gave Kamaal a chance. Maybe if he went for that Xerneas instead of the Rayquaza, that would have given him an out, but he decided to target down the Rayquaza instead. Didn't pick up the knockout, KO'd himself in recoil, and looks like we're going to see a 2-0 here for Barry. Kamaal, though, still 3-1, so he's definitely got a good chance here at advancing to Day 2.